Thank you. Lars, I think you probably had to be interested to see how your team would respond from last night, and then you get a little extra dose of adversity by giving up the 2 goals early, but do you like the way you just stuck with it and were able to kind of get back in that game and close it out?
Yeah, I was really happy how we responded because we started the game right. We weren't on our heels, we weren't chasing it, and then, a dangerous player, we all know what Panarin can do. He makes a special play and it's in your net, and face-off play, our coverage is good, goes off the skate, so it could have unraveled real quick there, real quick. And we stuck to it. We get a good break there on the goal going off Gus's skate, and then power play. It was a huge goal for them. That settled us in, I thought, and played a much more just a more complete, assertive game. It was a great response for our group.
Yeah, you get those goals early. You guys are a team that has struggled scoring some goals here recently. You get those ones early, especially bang bang like that. Could you kind of sense the maybe the relief or just the confidence grow on the team on the benches? Does that happen?
Yeah, you could feel it. I think after they scored their second goal, it's kind of like, and because I liked how we were playing, I think the guys felt like they started well too. So honestly, the first one was the big one, just to kind of take a breath, and then the power play to come right back and score, that was huge, and you could see the chatter picked up, and they were playing better.
I think a lot of guys had some pretty good games, but I want to ask about Corpy, your goalie, just for the saves he made in the third period. It seemed like he was in the zone, and really, got to be nice to see a guy like that that's battled through a lot this year get a win like this.
Yeah, it's funny because it didn't start the way he wanted either. It was a tough start for him. I think the next dump in after that, he's kind of fumbling around, and it was a rough go at the beginning, but he settled right in, and that's. It doesn't always go perfect or how you want it or how you want it to be scripted early, and he settled in, was solid, and then obviously the third he was lights out. I mean, he made some incredible saves there down the stretch, and he helped put us on his back.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Mark Scheig. Go ahead, Mark.
Thanks, Glenn. Brad, can you just speak to Boone Jenner? I know you've been with him for a long time, and just seems like he's playing some of the best hockey of his career. Are you noticing that as well, especially when you need a performance like you did to be able to collect 4 points?
Yeah, I think we all know what Boone is, and naming him captain this year, what we think of him. Today was a real important game for our team, for a lot of guys, and you want the proper guys to step up, and he was right at the front of it. He had a couple goals and assists. I think he had 6 hits, 7 shot attempts, 4 in net, I believe, and taking big draws there down the stretch. I don't know if he won many of them, but he was trying anyway. And Boone stepped up with a lot of other guys too. It wasn't just him tonight, but when you're the captain, you got to lead, and I felt like he led it properly, and a lot of guys followed suit. We had a lot of guys that played hard tonight. Obviously, a much more complete game and a better game.
And Brad, overall in the leadership too, Nyquist, again, another solid game. Corrali, another game. There are a lot of guys that game, but just how well is the leadership doing and just coming together overall, just as a leadership group? It seemed like tonight would be a good start for them to really come together.
Yeah, and like I said, it's an important bounce back game for us, and I'd throw Z in that mix too, and he had a rough game the other night. I think he had 3 assists tonight. Was a plus player against a real good team. Big minutes again, as always, on a back-to-back. Like this was a tough game. Like that team was rested. They're waiting for us, and we all know what happened the night before with our group. And it was a long day. I'm not gonna lie, it was a long night and a long day for these guys. But they handled this really well. We weren't perfect, but they paid attention to what we were trying to talk about, try to get better at. As a group, collective group, I thought they were so much more focused and determined to be a more competitive team tonight.
Last one for me is about the shots. I know we talked this morning about that you wanted to see assertiveness, especially early on the first 2 periods. Your team did a much better job of limiting their opportunities in that sense.
Yeah, the danger, it was just silly, the game against Calgary, what we were giving up. So obviously that had to stop. This team, they're high-end players. They do the damage, and from Panarin to Zibanejad to Strome to those guys are such dangerous players, and Kreider obviously another guy. So they got 2 really dangerous lines. Their power play, I mean, that's a dangerous group out there. They get a 6-on-4, and we get through that. So it was important that we defended, we checked. Structurally we were better. Again, not perfect, but so much better than the game before.
Okay, we'll go to Bailey Johnson. Go ahead, Bailey.
Thanks, Glenn. Hey, Brad, we've talked a little about Patrick Laine's recent struggles recently. He ends up with 2 assists tonight. How do you assess his performance tonight?
He was a way better player for me tonight. I really liked his game. Again, the one thing that stood out to me tonight was his puck decisions. And, when scorers, sometimes they try to push the envelope a bit, and he tries to do too much, and that's where he gets himself in trouble. I thought tonight he had a good understanding of the danger areas, where he was in his shift length. There were several times he grabbed it, he didn't have anything there, and he just puts it in and he gets his change. And I know it sounds silly, like it's not a big deal, but it is. It's important that he does the right thing at the right time. And to me, that's a small step for him. But I thought he controlled the puck well. I thought he was shooting more, trying to do those things that we've been talking about. And I thought he was a good player tonight for us, real good.